conference will now be recorded.
You weren't here. I did that.
Okay,
I might.
essentially being 6 o'clock, 5:59, we will bring the January 14th, 2026 Tilton Budget Committee to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have to show you that.
Thank you, everybody, for being here.
These are good. Right here. I'll do them in a minute.
We want to, I guess we should just get into finishing our discussion of the budget, because we need to have a public hearing,
I will.
and that has to be by February, early February.
February 13th.
Yeah, okay, so we want to do it at least, early February, probably 7 days before that.
We
Right.
could do the end of January as well.
We could just do it in a couple of weeks.
The 28th
Yeah.
would be a good.
Okay, yeah,
Might not
that's
be
good
bad.
with me. How's everybody's schedule for the 28th?
Is it a Wednesday?
It's Wednesday is the 28th.
Here, what do I do?
I'm totally good.
Okay.
Totally good.
I'll be in Florida.
When's the
Okay,
next Selectmen's meeting?
22nd.
All right, so you may not be here on the 28th.
Oh, I will be, but I'll be on that side.
Right.
Well,
I thought you
wanna
might
have
want to
my
start with the
input.
smaller budgets, the sewer and the Lockmere Village District before you got into the town. It's your choice, Bill, but it's just a suggestion.
I'm sorry, my ears were a little stuffed up. I've had a cold for the last 3 weeks.
I just thought you might want to start with the two smaller budgets, the sewer budget and the Lockmere Village District before you got into the town's budget. It's your choice, but I just
And
thought
is
you might-
this something that we're
That's the
passing
Lockmere
around
Village District?
and we're signing that?
No, that's the commissioners that signed that.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah, Joe brought that in and he can answer questions.
So we have to deal with the Tilton Sewer and the Lockmere. So typically these are pass-through budgets, right?
That they're paid for by the users.
Yeah. So does anyone have any questions on these?
Which one are we looking at?
Well, let's start with the Lockmere Village District.
So, Joe, you're answering Lockmore Mayor questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
to the best of my ability.
I see income and expenses match. However, this is just a budget for 26, not 2025, any 25, blah,
This is our
actual.
budget going forward,
Because there's a lot of round numbers. That's why.
and that's what we're budgeting.
Do you know what your year end is?
The expense is $57,784,000.
No, that's 57,000. No, what's your year end? Is it like a calendar year or July to July? Do you know?
It's June 1st to June 1st.
July.
July 1st to June 30th.
Yeah,
July
July,
to
June
July.
3rd,
July 3rd,
Yeah,
July
yeah,
1
yeah,
to
yeah,
June.
I got it. I got
Fiscal
it.
year. Yep.
or May 31st, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So what were your total expenses last year? How does it come in close to this? Do you know?
We came out even.
So you didn't go over the income,
No.
expenses stayed
No.
under. Okay.
No,
That's really what I wanted to know.
and we didn't fall short. We did have to hit our fund for a couple of unanticipated expenses. We had these numbers, the numbers from last year are a little bit skewed because we had the PFOA project, new filters and new pumps and new generators and new plumbing, rebuilt the entire station, 1.27 million or something, but it all came from grants.
Oh, good.
It came from grants and I can't tell you the name of it, but the state was heavily involved in this because of the PFOAs.
Okay. So if your expenses exceed your income, then you pull from
It's
This
gonna,
fund.
our expenses won't exceed our income because whenever we got paid, they pay us for the grant, they pay us the grant money and then we pay, uh, engineers, somebody in Sampson.
So you don't have to pay the money first and then get reimbursed? Is that what you're
No,
saying? Okay.
They pay
Oh.
us and then we pay these
Expenses.
people. And
Yep.
we have
Yeah.
the architect, which is somebody in Sampson. And then we have a on-site construction people who deal specifically with water and putting in these kind of systems. And I'm happy to report that there are no PFOAs in the Lockmere Village District water. 3 months running now.
Nice.
So it's working.
And there were before?
There were. There were 2 sites identified in the town of Tilton. One was the Lockmere Village District up
Mhm.
here, and one was the place where they used to have the mountain of tires down on the opposite side of the high school.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, Turgeon's. Oh, yeah.
There were
Those are big dump
PFO
sites, yeah.
PFOAs in their groundwater. I don't know what's happened to that site, but our site has been remediated.
Well, the one in Lockmere was a leaking tank.
Never identified the source of the
Oh, really?
contamination either.
Okay, huh.
There were all sorts of factories and what have you in the 1800s and right up through 1950 in the river and beside the river. Who knows? Might have come from who knows. So
PFAs are in everything.
yeah. Once
This
it got into the
question,
groundwater, that was that. But we have clean water now.
Nice.
Yeah.
this is probably a Tim question, but does the Lockmere show on the budget?
Yeah.
I don't see it in.
Down at the bottom.
No, no, it doesn't.
It's not there now.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
it does not.
No, because they're a separate village district, so they do separate reporting. But for tax, for tax rate setting purposes, their documentation has to be signed and submitted, even though they have no effect on our tax rate.
Okay.
So it still requires review by the budget committee.
I'll make a motion to accept the budget for Lockmere Village District.
I'll second. Any more discussion?
Only that I would recuse myself from
Okay,
this vote.
thank you. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, looks like it's unanimous. Check that one off. Okay, and the sewer is similar. Again, that's user fees. Looks like their budget's gone down a little bit, but I know.
Catherine is on the sewer commission. I'm sure she could answer you.
Okay.
No, you
Well,
showed up.
we know that from year to year, there are infrastructure projects, things like that, which will always change it, but that's something that the users have to deal with.
Right. Typically scheduled, if there's a road project, they're going to redo the road, then we redo the sewer if we haven't in the road, especially in this area, because it's such an old system. The other infrastructure projects are, oops, it broke. We gotta fix it. So that's what those are.
Do you have a capital reserve fund for those purposes?
We don't have capital reserve per se, but we do have an account, like a savings account. We have 2 bank accounts. One sits there and to accumulate interest, and one we draw down for expenses and tap into that if we have to.
Is your projected revenue for 26 estimating the same as the expenses? Because the one that's listed here just says 25. for revenue?
I don't have a budget in front of me for the sewer. so
Oh,
I'm at a loss. I'm sorry. Thank you.
so I've got
What
expenses
was the
at nine.
question you asked me?
I've got expenses as 956, 767, but no projected revenue for 26. Are we expecting the exact same thing, so to speak, for revenue?
Similar.
Because 2025, the expenses were 808 actual and only 542 in revenue actual from what I get here. That's a big shortfall.
No, you're looking at the number under it has to be added. Revenue January to November and then January to December.
That doesn't make sense.
Are those two different revenue numbers?
So at the top, it says actuals November 25, so that's why I went to the revenue to November 30th. I don't know what that other January to December, if I don't know if that's revenue or what that is. And it's 23 and 24 anyways.
Doesn't make sense.
We need Johanna. That meeting was a month or two ago. I don't remember what we.
But basically, the fees are supposed to pay all expenses for the sewer commission.
The fees. So we recently had a study done, I'm going to say a year ago, to see, if we needed to raise the fees because they hadn't been raised in probably 15, 20 years. So we raised them and have it set up by percentages. It'll increase. And I'm sorry, I don't remember what the intervals are, but the fees were increased last year.
Yep.
But the fees it's designed to cover our costs. The
Okay.
biggest cost you can see on that is the state of New Hampshire.
Yeah. So if
Have a
the,
breakdown.
There's something cut off at the bottom says we are on a 5-year rate increase and
yeah, that's
then-
for their revenue. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Because I
that's
remember
why,
they voted that in. Yeah. So if there is a shortfall, you have to go to, Northway or your money market, right?
Pardon?
If there's a shortfall, you have to pull from your money market or Northway.
Yes, and
Okay.
typically we don't have a shortfall unless we have an unexpected repair.
Okay. Tim, is this in the budget?
It is listed at the bottom of the budget. It's in both revenue and on the expense side, yes. If you look on page 1 of the budget, you'll see it's listed underneath the operating budget.
Oh, okay,
'Cause it's-
separate.
It's
down
not
here.
included in the operating budget.
Okay.
So they're down 1.8%.
Requests.
And this budget, this sewer department is one of the things that sort of scares me a little bit for the future of the town. And one of the concerns I have on spending and keeping spending down. The main reason that the life expectancy of sewer systems and piping and ductile iron pipes is about 50 years. And it's a 45-year-old facility. So we're only a few years away from those major project concerns that we might have in spending above ground and the, overdoing things and the possibility of something like this.
That's why we plan on,
Mm.
we talked to the Public Works Director to see what road projects, like I
Yeah,
said,
I
especially in
know.
the Village District, that he has for 26, 27. And then we plan accordingly to repair, or I shouldn't say repair, but replace those lines.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so far, that's worked very well.
Yeah.
We do, instead of repiping, we do pipe bursting, where they put a new line in the old line.
Mhm.
We just had to do one. We had a breakdown on East Main Street under Route 3. And I think it was in November, October. And we did a pipe bursting there, and the cost, I'm going to be off a bit because I'm using an old memory. The cost to put new pipe was in the $45,000, $50,000 range. The pipe bursting cost about $18,000. So it's big savings if we can do it that way.
Sure.
And the sewer is just within a certain part of the town, right?
Yes,
Mostly the
well, it
downtown.
extends to Winnisquam, except for the section in front of my house. It doesn't go from Manville Road to Brook Road. There's no sewer there. But it picks up again and runs down Route 3. It stops, I think, near the high school. So it
Right,
doesn't go
right.
west.
We were trying to extend that, I think.
And it doesn't go north. We have tried to extend it down there, but it wasn't successful. But we'll bring it back again when there's more development going on down there, like the Turchin property, that's a big tract. When they start, and there's another big tract on the opposite side, they start putting in dwelling units and housing, then it makes more sense to extend it.
So it goes out to exit 20, past 20 to Mansville, did you say?
Excuse me?
Does it go out past exit 20 to
goes to
Mansfield Road or Silver Lake
Approximately
Road?
Manville Road. There's a project there. Yeah, they have those storage units. There's going to be dwelling units up on the hill. The owner is going to run a line across to the interceptor, which runs by the railroad tracks. And that's the end of it, headed east until you get to Brook Road and it picks up again, like I said.
The whole system goes all the way to Center Harbor. And that's why the state runs it, is because many towns are on it. No one town is big enough to have one, but all together.
Winnipesaukee Basin Sewer.
Yeah,
Plant,
yeah.
I remember when it came through
Right.
downtown here with a
So
5
we're
foot, 5 foot
responsible
pipe.
for the Tilton side of things. I think when it comes to daily pay, the bigger cities like Franklin might pay more than we do, and we pay more than Samberton does, et cetera, by number. I don't know how it's,
And it
the
goes up,
rate is done by number of people or, yeah.
so it goes up Sanborn Road to Nickerson's. Does it actually go that far?
It doesn't run up
J. Jill?
Sanborn Road, which is why our police department has a septic system.
Okay,
It comes up, I believe, through Home Depot and then up Business Park Drive that way.
okay.
Does it?
And then up School Street to,
Caleb Hill.
well, School Street. That would be,
It goes up School Street. Oh, I know it goes up to the top of the hill,
It
but I
goes,
don't think it goes much further.
it goes one house past my house. I'm on the sewer on Caleb Hill Road. So I think like 5 or 6.
that's on
That's how far
Winter
the
Street.
water goes
Goes
to.
up that way.
I have it on Winter. I
that
love
way,
it. It's
yeah.
great.
Mhm.
I think it goes
I
up,
don't
to- I
have it.
believe it goes up to the Veterans
Caleb.
Home.
That's not what we.
But a lot of that area past that is agricultural, and so you'd have septic systems.
So
Okay, anybody want to make a motion? Not, I'll make a motion. We accept the Tilton Sewer Commission budget for
Second.
956,767. No sense.
Christine seconded. She did. She
Christine seconded.
Yeah.
Okay, my ears are
I know.
still
Mine
clogged up.
plugged
I'm
too,
sorry.
Bill. I hear you.
I'm
I
not-
don't hear you.
I'm not hearing a lot of stuff. So,
I have the same issue.
any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye,
Aye.
opposed? Okay. All right, so now we can get back to, let's see, we're kind of stuck on the administration budget. We could revisit that. I'm not sure, I'm still a little unclear why it didn't pass, but anybody want to?
Probably the raises, I guess. I wasn't here last.
It was 3-3.
It was a tie.
Yeah.
7 this week.
Where's administration? Oh, this one?
Mhm. Goes through to here.
That was 18.
Let's see.
6.7%. Oh, no, that's town clerk, sorry.
The dues went up a lot.
You think?
Elevator lift maintenance. Tim, on the equipment maintenance and repair, boiler, elevator lift, contract, fire, these are all for this coming year, right?
Yes, yeah. So the $1,900 is for the 2026 year.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would make a motion to fund the administration section of the budget in the amount of $848,322.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion. I mean, the budget is up 3%, which is about relative to wage increases, but
Is this the one that the, this one that they got hired and then on the premise that it was gonna go up and all that stuff?
right.
Oh, okay,
The
okay.
the town administration, yeah. Administrator, Scott Hilliard.
And then we have,
I mean, Tim had actually written a little bit of a
oh, yeah.
blurb on that back on the 10th, which I don't think I saw until the 17th, but
Is that-
I know it was in our email, but which kind of explained that whole process. I know that the public is generally concerned about any kind of increases because the economy is not the greatest right now. But
Oh.
Well, the most obvious concern is the 18% for that one
Line.
position, the department head of that department. When a lot of, and it may not be with this department as much as others, but the rank and file employees of the town are looking at a 3%, whereas department heads are looking at 10, 18.
but if you did read Tim's
Oh,
synopsis of that, I mean, it's like a ball player. You know, you're going to hire somebody that you think was going to help the team, so you make a deal saying this is what's going to happen. That's why I came in at a lower rate than normal, and then after making passing specs or whatever.
Well, we had a lengthy discussion, and that's what the discussion was. When we made the position, it should have been looked at by, the first answer was, well, we looked at other towns, and other towns are around the 100,000 range. We're at the 80-something thousand range. And that was the reason. Well, the question started being, well, why wasn't that factored in when the position was built? You know, why would it now happen? And it was, well, it was an agreement to talk about it afterwards. And
No, I think it was
just-
wasn't that initially agreed on when you were talking to
Yes, if I may.
yes, Tim, please.
Yeah, so the position had been at $100,000 level prior to that. In 23, it was budgeted 100. It was increased to 115 in 24. And I went back and there was barely a word about that 15% increase from 23 to 24. We budgeted it for 25 because that was the initial starting pay for that position for that individual based on a number of factors that the Board of Selectmen had negotiated at the time. And the actually I had to go back and listen to some of the meetings, but on 12/18 of 24, when this was discussed, when the 88.5 was discussed in the budget for 2025, at 0.28 minutes into it, I said that this is going to increase with the caveat with time. Of course, you know, what does time mean? Who knows? But historically, it had been budgeted at 100,000 from 23 on, and it was just under 100,000 in 22. So it wasn't outside of the ordinary for that. And then also, if you look just across the river here, someone with similar experience is earning more money than that position pays for the town of Tilton. So in any case, and then lastly, you know, we have benefited from the redirection of the Island Bridge project, which we were looking at about $1.5 million expense, but because of the individual's own experience and knowledge, we were able to save almost $1 million off of the original, or not quite $1 million. It was 900 something off the original estimate from the old engineers. And we're not going to have to bond anything for the island because of that, for the bridge. And in addition, that there's already been a grant for a truck, which is $214,000 of grant money. He's working on a second grant. So we're looking at potentially about $440,000 of grant money coming in because of that individual's efforts. So, you know, these are things that maybe not are seen as a whole by the budget committee, you know, in an operating budget process, but it does add to the value of the town, add to the value that certain individuals bring to the town by their skills, their connections, their talents, their ability to get things done. And,
And this is
Hopefully
not a
that
question
helps.
of whether the person's doing a good job or not. We're not asking that. It's the optics for the townspeople of 18% raise. And you just brought up a point that, well, in 2024, we gave what was it, $15,000, 10% raise.
it was a 15% raise from
15%.
100 to 115.
Is that the goal for next year's another, get it
No,
up
no,
to a
I'm-
150? And that's my
Yeah.
point. That's the optics that looks bad. To somebody who doesn't, you know, somebody who's looking at these things and we ask the questions, why wasn't it first built at that price? Why,
Well,
you know?
I think, I personally, I think that would be the wrong way to budget it. I wouldn't want to see any budget set, not that it's my decision, but I wouldn't recommend any budget set at a rate that is other than what's being paid. That would be illogical to me. So in other words, we could have kept it, or the selectmen could have suggested, keep it at 100,000, keep it at 115,000, and we'll just pay less this next year. But that wouldn't have been the right thing to do for the taxpayers. We should only be budgeting what we're expecting to spend.
Yes.
So that's why
Should
it was done that
And we
way.
should expect to spend as we build that position, when the select board builds up positions to fill that spot, by looking at other towns and whatever way you guys came up with that number. And they say, well, the number was very low. Why? You know, it just, what my point is, and that was the point of the discussion and how we talked about it, is the optics of it and the answers we got just didn't look right. It didn't pass the smell test to me, from the questions that we had and the answers that we got. And it's not, you know, it just,
So I, with all respect, Scott, nothing about you and your talents, but I think the difference too is you have to look at the people that were in those positions. Okay. There are different people come with different skill sets and different education and different, you know, the previous town administrator, I think, came in with more town administration under her belt, or at least she was portrayed to have that. And, you know, Scott has a long career and I appreciate you, but Scott is fairly new as a town administrator. So I think maybe that's why he came in the 80 or 90 range, right? Because they wanted to see how he would do and this and that. I don't disagree that Scott should have a raise his second year. I'm just concerned at the 18%. That's hard for me when people are, everybody's taxes are going up and people are struggling to pay their bills and grocery prices. It just seems like not that you're not doing a great job, Scott, but
And that's what I mean by it.
18% is,
The optics.
It has
It
nothing to
is.
do with the
Yeah.
person or their
Yeah.
job.
Yeah,
I hope he gets
That's all-
grants. I
that's all
hope
I'm
that
saying.
person in that position
Well,
gets grants. I hope the
already
people in
he's
that
getting
position.
grants, so that's a good,
Yes.
good sign.
And
Yeah,
like I said,
yeah.
this is not
Yeah.
on how the town is run or how
Right.
that person does their job. It's the optics of the budget. And we have to go through this budget and say, as representatives of the people, that doesn't look right. Why is that one so much higher? And then, like we talk about the cost of living and the people that come here and say, my taxes went up because assessments went up and housing prices went up and sewer bills are going up and water bills are going up and electric bills are going up. And every meeting we talk about and we hear, we got to do everything we can for the seniors. We got to do everything we can to keep people in their houses. Talk is cheap. This is where it actually, and it's not this one line item or that one line item, but these meetings are where we could find possible savings. And
Mhm.
and if it is a thing where
Right,
getting
that's
that
why we're
a
we're
good
here to
answer as to
to
why.
discuss that.
So that's why when,
Pat,
it gets
did you want to say
frustrating.
something?
I do want to say something because I believe in some of what you're saying, but the Board of Selectmen have a job to do. And one of their jobs is to bring in people that can run the town. Town administrator is our number two person. When that number two person comes aboard and we change hands, we always want to test the waters first. We don't want to bring in somebody at $115,000 and have them out the door in 2 weeks. We don't want that turnover.
That's happened before.
Yeah, it has. Actually, we had somebody here for 10 days. But what we want to do is to evaluate that person. And when we bring that person in, we tell them that that's what we're doing. And that's our job. That's the selectmen's purview to do that. We bring them in and we say, if you succeed at what we want and our expectations, then we'll increase it. He's exceeded our expectations. We're trying to tell you that at a budget committee meeting, several meetings now. He's exceeded the board's expectations, and we can't get into it because it's an employee, but we'll, at some point in time,
Well, no,
show you,
I mean,
but
just that he's
just
making his
telling
money
you-
back by getting grants.
Exactly,
That's
just-
what we're looking for that.
just
Yeah,
giving you a
so,
snippet
yeah.
of his experience and what he's brought to the town of Tilton. He's deserved every bit of it. And now we're trying to tell you that we want this in the budget because this was an agreement between the Board of Selectmen and the employee.
Okay, yeah.
That's what we're trying to
I
tell
think
you.
we kind of understand that.
And that's our job,
Yeah,
to put that
right.
in the budget.
And our job is to ask you as many questions as possible, so we understand that. I mean, that's why we're here. Yeah.
And like I said, it has nothing to do with whether the person's doing a good job or not. We expect that person to do a good job at 88,000 or 104,000 or 115,000. What we're here for is the spending.
Well, I'm trying to tell you that we don't want to lose good people
Yes,
either.
yes. And
Just
we've had-
remember that.
And we've had this discussion ad nauseum over and over again. And every year that we talk about it, it's a small town may not be able to afford to keep people who are really good and they move on. And we had that discussion. It had nothing to do with the individuals. It's small town. And the discussion and the testimony and where it was. And well, I left here and I left there. Why? It was a small town. I couldn't afford it. We're a small town too, and we have to act like a small town. And it's like I said, one line item isn't going to change the rate that people pay, but at least we could try every bit we can. And that's why we need, and that was the other answer. And there was a lot of different answers of, well, we compared it to other towns. All right, well, why didn't we start it at that? All right, well, he also does a lot of other things because this position isn't filled and that position isn't filled. All right, well, when we filled those positions, is he going to go back down? No. Because that's going to be more cost when that position gets filled or this position gets filled. And that's just my point overall. And this is a nice collection of the leaders of this town, is what could we do to get a negative number or as close as we can to last year?
Thank you, Stan. Yeah. So we want to vote on this?
Well, I just want to make a point.
Okay, sure.
He already got the raise. And so regardless of us voting this down or not, the select board will find the money elsewhere in here too,
Mm-hmm.
because he's already got it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we're making our point. That's all.
Correct.
That's
Yep.
all. That's all we can do.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair,
Yes.
I call the question.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. We've had discussion. All those in favor of the administration budget or 848323, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. I guess we should
I'd
do
like
a roll call. Yeah,
vote,
yeah.
please.
Yeah, okay.
Jessamine, yes.
Okay.
Brown, no.
Hanson, yes.
Lawrence, yes.
Dembitsky, no.
Shepherd, no.
Okay, it looks like it's 4-3 yes.
Motion
So,
passes.
Okay, passes. Thank you, everybody. for the
Yeah,
discussion.
democracy. That's what
Thank
it's
you
all
for-
about. That's what
Thank
we're
you
here
for the
for.
discussion, yeah.
Yeah.
And we are learning. It's an organic process. All right, let's, next
Sorry,
one.
can you just tell me who seconded that motion? I missed
did.
that. You did, thank you.
All right, so let's go on to the police, who can never keep anybody on in a small town. But
That'd be nice.
I don't, I'll make a motion that we accept the $2,690,990
What?
for the
Okay.
police budget. Is that what it is now?
6.2.
Oh, I'm on Public Works. Where am I?
Jessamine, second.
Okay,
So these are contracts. So regardless, these are what
I
they
mean,
get
yeah,
paid and
they've
stuff,
got a
right?
whole
Expenses too.
another world that the police.
Just so
are
you
in.
know, also, that was a retirement, so I can't really predict retirements.
Right. Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah, yeah.
The janitorial, we changed contractors, right? Tim?
Yes.
Chief Gilman, is there anything you want to say?
There we go. I was here the last meeting or the first meeting, and I spoke then. So
Yes, yeah,
I think
yeah.
we went through, and if there was any questions for me more, that's why I'm here.
Is the building maintenance contracts or
Yeah, 61%.
Tim or Chief?
The bottom of page 9.
9, yes. HVAC is at 85, generator 28.
That's
and
correct. Yep,
These
those
are all contracts?
Those are all contracts. That's correct. Yep.
And those went out to bid before we did contracts?
It goes on to the next page too.
Oh.
Not all of them because the HVAC system we have, which is manufactured by Trane, we can't go out to another company for certain maintenance that's done. It has to be done by Trane.
It's kind of a stronghold.
Well,
Mm.
so it's on both the bottom of page 9 and top of page 10.
Okay, I see train on page 10. And they're not HVAC, or are they HVAC?
That system there, you have HVAC, which is Eckhart and Johnson. And that was when the building was built. That's who we have. And as Tim had said, Trane is a system within HVAC, but Eckhart and Johnson will not work with Trane products. It's all digital. So if you look at some of the thermostats, it says Trane by Mitsubishi. That is independent company. And I've kind of gone back and forth with Tim and with Eckhart and Johnson. So they do the HVAC, but to do pretty much the digital technology and the
Okay.
upload and the things to make it work, which you need a
They
master's
rebalance it.
degree in.
Yep.
Yeah.
They rebalance it. Eckhart and Johnson does all the preventative maintenance, all the filter changes, all the cleaning, everything else.
Yep. And
all
that's,
all the physical work. Train does the digital work, if you will.
yep. And that's twice a year with Eckhart and Johnson. They come twice a year for that work.
Expensive.
If I remember correctly from the construction, it was a $500,000 system when it was put in.
So Chief, we're down one officer right now?
That's correct. One officer patrol.
And that officer is still in this budget?
That officer is included in this budget. That's correct.
Any potential applicants?
At this point, no, there are not. I mean, we've obviously tried to source out, we have applications out. And you obviously hope you get maybe a certified officer, since we have an uncertified officer right now in the academy. So I'd like to get a certified. It's quick, but it also costs a little bit more money to get somebody that's, as we talked about, to pay for that quality and that experience.
So the one that's vacant, we budgeted for whatever this last person left for, or at a starting salary? Do you know?
It was based on the former salary.
What would be the difference between the former salary and a starting salary?
It depends. Probably, I think it's about $12. I'd have to look it up, but the chief was trying to hire in a certified individual. So a certified individual would not be coming in, most likely at a entry level.
Would the certified be pretty close to the wage of the person who left?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's good. That's questions.
In fact, if I may, Chief, we were a little low compared to some potential candidates
That's correct.
that were certified. That would have liked to have made the change, but we were on the low side.
Okay.
Let's see. So it's about an $11 difference for non-certified to the salary, that wage.
Question? How much does it cost to take a regular person, me for instance, if I were 50 years younger,
15.
to educate me to be a police officer? The ride-alongs, the academy, the wages, potentially insurance for me and my budding family.
It approaches.
Well, we put the insurance as a family plan on every person because you never know what they're going to take.
No,
I'm pretty sure we
that's
do.
not how we budget
I
it.
thought we did that last year.
No.
You talked about.
No, we put in a two-person is generally what
Two in
we
the middle?
budget it,
Okay.
and hopefully get a
Good to know.
single coming in.
We had somebody,
People
we
change
had
during the year.
somebody in my recollection that went to the academy, couldn't pass the test, was on the force uncertified for quite some time before they finally passed the test and became a certified police officer, and subsequently worked a number of years, certainly, before they left and went somewhere else for better opportunities.
That happens.
How much did it cost for that person?
So through
To train
through
them.
16 weeks, it's about $23,000 to $24,000 of cost.
And then you got ride-alongs and uniforms and guns and ammunition,
There's a
Uh,
startup
that
in here,
costs
new
for-
uniforms,
yeah.
12.5.
It's in there.
vests.
Yeah.
Startup costs.
What you call them, the harnesses there?
Yeah, the carriers, our vest carriers. I mean, we do a good job of making sure the officer that we have now, I mean, all of his belt and everything else is used equipment. We do have a lot of used equipment. you know, things like that. His uniform, we don't embroider the uniforms. If you see the uniform, some of the officers have the embroidery with the insignias. This is different than what I'm wearing now, but the patrol will leave that blank just in case, so that we can put those back on the shelf. Not that we hope that happens, but you just got to be smart about that stuff. You're not going to fit a vest the first day a person comes in. So we do have extra vests that are still within the, they're not expired because a vest costs $1,400. And you don't want to get a vest and then now that vest is cut to that person. So a lot of things that we try to do. I mean, yes, boots, you know,
Yeah,
any
we
other
do.
little equipment thing. Oh yeah, here comes the boots.
No, no.
All the other little things, but we try to do our best. And I mean, again, this isn't my first rodeo, you could say. I mean, I've hired probably 23 people on the 4 years that I've been in this role, I guess. I just finished my third, but for a good 7 or 8 months, I was interim chief. So we I wouldn't say we have it mastered. We have it good where we know that obviously we don't want to waste any money and be cutting shirts up, throwing shirts out, because once you embroider them and do those things, it's a waste. We find the people that obviously can pass the PT test, can get through that. What Joe was talking about was not during when was not when I was chief. So everybody we have sent to the academy has obviously passed the test. Everything has gone good with that. So we just make sure we do our best with keeping those in mind when we hire people.
Well, you just brought up used equipment, so I'm going to ask, do we still budget for all this new stuff when we have used equipment on the shelves?
Well, the thing is that's a union contract. So the officers under their contract get so many shirts a year, so many pairs of pants a year, other things. Now,
Okay.
when I'm talking about new officers, yes, they're getting that used equipment, but they're technically in the union right off the get-go. It takes a year for them to be on the union, and once that kicks in, then they get that.
Okay.
We do also, if you look at that, that's really low for that new officer or new equipment. If you think about it, if every officer every year came to me and asked for, I think there's at least 25 different things on the list. And the lowest end would just be two shirts, long sleeve, 2 short sleeve shirts, and 2 pairs of pants. And I would say that's close to $1,000. So, which is, you know, so you got to think if every officer every year came and said, hey, I want my 2, 2, and 2,
Right.
I would be way over. So
Yeah.
we do good at making sure if we see something, but the officers do a fabulous job with not taking more than they need, I guess you could say.
I know your business doesn't really do much with the revenue stream, but do you, what is the kind of revenue that you can encounter besides tickets and grants, I suppose, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tons of grants. We did the MDT grants for the new cruisers. So those are the terminals, the mobile terminals in the cruisers. Those are, I think that was that around
That was-
6.
Well, there were a number of different grants. Those were, I want to say, it was in the, gosh, was
That's
it
what I'm saying.
13.5? And
Well, that was a
we had
body worn camera.
the
It was a
body worn cameras,
13.5
was
from
body
the
worn
state.
cameras. We had the
But we had
overtime of 8,500. We had the MDTs, I think, were 36 in total.
yeah, $36,000 or $40,000 for those
Yeah.
MDTs, and that was 100%. So that was not paid through the town or anything like that. Obviously, all the cruisers, the nice you know, Tahoes everybody sees every year. If you remember back in the day, we would come to the board or we'd come to the town and ask for a warrant article to get a cruiser. You haven't seen that in a couple of years. I'd say probably since 2021. I would say all those cruisers have been paid by the detail fund, which is the officers out there working those details, and that's
Great.
what pays for
Yeah.
those cruisers. Those cruisers go to those are about 55,000 to buy, and then another 20,000 each to outfit. And we have 4 Tahoes now. We did 2 the first year I was on, and we're able to get those. And then we skipped a year, and the last 2 years we were able to buy 1 each year. We were able to use some of the money also to buy 2 used admin cars to be able to help our fleet. That was
Yep.
had some issues.
And
with that, so.
not only that, but we keep track of the market rate for details. and make sure that, that we're keeping pace out there for commercial details. Not only that, and that's been one of the main reasons why we've been able to accumulate and be able to purchase these without any additional taxation. But not only that, but if you look on page 12, on the revenues page, the miscellaneous revenues for the PD is projected to quadruple this year. And it's primarily because the chief and administrative assistant were really instrumental in helping us get into a program with a third party that handles all the insurance, the reports for insurance companies and accidents and police reports for things like that. And we've gone from where we used to charge $5 for a police report to $25 per police report. And that was again in keeping with kind of a trend within the state for insurance companies. If citizens come in, they pay the base $5 amount. So we made sure that, and there's quite a bit of activity that has to be done in order to, get these reports out and that sort of thing. So we're more capturing the revenue that goes along with the expense that we're already incurring. So that's why you'll see that hopefully, in fact, that's probably a little conservative, the 9,500. Hopefully we'll be over 10,000 with that. But this will be the first full year in 2026 of doing that. The other thing too is when we did have a renegotiation, which the selectmen still have to approve, but the prosecutorial revenue is going to be renegotiated with Samerton, and we've already discussed price increases informally with them, and we'll be looking at additional revenue there. It won't impact 26, but that will be for 27.
And when is that toll booth going to be installed?
Yeah.
Right.
So we're always looking at what's reasonable, what is out there in the market, making sure that we're capturing particularly where we have an expense that generates some type of revenue that we're kind of in line with as much as we can without burdening the citizens of the town.
I mean, I don't know if you get much revenue for tickets or something, speeding, or I mean, is there?
It's on the
Not for the
revenue.
speed, but you can see in 2025, we had $3,000. This year, we had $43.90. So we went up to about,
For parking and
Yep.
That's
that's parking enforcement. That's the officers being out there, and
just downtown?
majority of it, yes. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot of
That
the
is,
back lots, and people don't get parking. A lot of it's a parking permits also.
does that
so
include
people-
speeding tickets and?
No speeding tickets. Those are through state.
Yeah, some of their tickets go through the state.
Well, that goes to the state. I mean, that's a state.
What's that? I'm sorry.
He's saying speeding ticket money goes to the state, not to the town.
It's because it's a state highway, so that's, yeah.
Yeah, everything that when we make an arrest,
Oh, I
make a
see.
stop, that's all state. That's through.
Oh,
That's
wow.
through.
You don't get a cut of
Yeah,
that?
We had nothing of that.
Well, that's
So,
kind of
Doesn't
rude.
seem right.
Yeah, we had I think roughly 2,700 stops this year, 3,000 stops.
Yeah.
So we're up about 450%. So you got to remember that. Yeah, a lot of those.
God, you got to fix that. Okay.
By could, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
We would fund the entire police.
Yeah, no,
There's people.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and we know, when we built Exit 20, we knew that was going to create, I mean, that's what the consultant said, it's great tax money right now, but your infrastructure is going to increase, and that's what we're seeing. So we need to somehow make that pay us back somehow. And besides, I mean, if the commercial rates went up, that would help instead of the housing appraisals, it's skewing things. Yeah. So, okay. I think we have
I just would like to make a point also, and just the optics again of salary in that, 17% for one position. that position's gonna be at $16,000 of the raise in salary. The other 16 people are gonna be sharing 44,000, so 25% of the raise money for salary is going to go to one position. And that's what I mean by the optics of it, of,
Are you still talking about the administration?
no,
No,
this-
police department.
Police?
the police department, the salaries, PD salary, officer wages is going up by 44,000. So let's call it 45,000. The position above it is 16,000. So 25% of the raise. And that's what I mean by rank and file people who are union people are sharing that amount. And that's what I mean by the optics of it. Just look like, and I don't know if all these positions got hired at the same time, so they all come up for raises at the same time. But that's what I mean by it doesn't look good to a citizen who's sitting in this, as well as a budget committee member who's sitting in this chair.
If I may, this will be the third year of the contract, and the first year was the highest year, the second year was the middle year, and this is the lowest year for the officers. So their contract was front end loaded in year one. And then also the line above it had been on a prior contract and a 3-year contract, and it was renegotiated. So that's what accounted for the change there. It had been low compared to the market.
And if we go to the third salaries, not counting overtime salaries, part-time salaries, but support staff, that's taken a $10,000 hit.
The reason there was because of a personnel change. So we had an intern that was fully funded and through a grant for a year. And so for part of the year, she was 100% paid for, but when so we had to budget both the revenue and the expense. So when the expense came out, that's why you see the reduction there.
Curiosity, when was the contract renegotiated? 25?
3 years.
2
ago.
years, okay.
This is the third year.
More questions? Do we have a motion yet, or?
I think there is a
Motion and a second, as
Yeah.
I recall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who made the motion? I made it. Okay. Right. All right. No more discussion. All those in favor of the police at 2690, 990, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nope.
Okay, I think the ayes have it.
Yeah, it was 1 no,
Yes.
right?
Okay. All right.
Bill, before you go on, I have a question for Tim.
Sure.
I can't find my budget for last year. I can find 24 and 23, but what was our total increase for 25 budget?
25 over 24.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll have to look it up.
You
Like,
know,
it
like
was
you
like-
have these percent of
It was
changes on
around
here.
3%.
What is it?
Around 3%, I think. Last year, I mean, the total budget last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
We're at
Three
give me a
3%.
minute, I can look it up.
We're at 5.1 this year.
And then it looked like for 23, it was 2.3% and 24.
And as Tim's looking it up, I could just remember the time when I was first on the budget committee, there was one new Ford Focus that every officer wanted to drive. And we were trying to get them to not always drive the same one. So the mileage all didn't go on that one new vehicle.
Okay, I'm going to say, while they're looking at, let's move on to the Public Works. I'll move we raise 886, 390 for Public Works.
Jessamine, second.
Right. Kevin, you have anything you want to, we haven't talked to you yet, so anything you want to say?
I'm just here for questions in case anybody has questions. Worked with Tim and Scott with,
Yeah, we've got a good grant going with a vehicle, I saw, yeah.
so we've already been awarded that one grant and we're working on the second. So we're hopeful that we'll get a second grant.
How's the
That's gonna-
staffing?
Staffing, we're full,
Okay,
with the exception of one part-timer, but that's, going into next year, I would like to fill that part-timer because we need the extra support for the transfer station. But the crew now has been handling the workload, so if that part-timer does not come on board this year, we'll still be okay. But right now we have 6 full-time employees, including myself.
Equipment purchases is up 57%. What's being added in that? On page 7, Tim.
Hang on, I was looking up,
Oh, okay.
looking up
We'll wait.
page 7.
Yeah. Because there's no
Which one?
information underneath there. Equipment purchases. 3,500 to 5,500.
Let me check my notes. I think so. I don't have any notes on that.
Tim, was that the, tire machine?
Actually, I think that's correct. Yeah, because the baler we have encumbered, so that's not included in the operating budget.
So
So it's a
the-
new cutting machine? Is that
no,
what-
The tire.
5,500 is for tire changing equipment.
Oh,
The ones that we have are outdated and I'm unable to repair. So in order to keep doing tire work in-house for the police department and the highway department, we will need to purchase a couple of new tire machines. That's a mounting machine and a balancing machine.
okay. 500 tire changer. And what was the other? Balance. Okay. I couldn't hear him.
Ours was circa 1920.
What is it?
Ours was circa 1920.
Probably.
They don't make them like they used to. They're the best.
Um,
I have a question on salary for crew. John, do you have a discussion why it went up to 6.4%? Like the mean seemed to be in the 3% median raises. Why did this
3.5 to
department get
4 is what
6?
the average was.
thought it was 2.
3.5 to 4 is what the different ranges
Right,
were.
yeah.
And that's why, the position, Public Works Director Technician is being requested at 36% raise. And the pay for the salary of the crew is at 6.4%. And in real numbers, the crew is going to share 17,005 and the department head is going to increase by 28,000. Do you know why 6.4%?
So if I may, so there was a number of personnel changes in that department. The most obvious, which you've already pointed out, was the director position. Was a personnel change there. And then within the department itself, there was a turnover of a number of people within the department. And the new hires were brought in at different rates. So that's why the increase over the budget from last year.
New people came in higher than the,
In some cases.
That's correct. We now have a driver that is CDL A driver. which obviously we didn't have one in-house before. We had to outsource it. And now we currently have one on payroll.
How many crew is in this line item?
For the crew,
How many
5 people.
positions? Five positions?
and we had another gentleman start with us that had 13 years of experience at another DPW. So his credentials dictate a decent rate of pay as well, which was above one of the crew members that left.
And you're sort of working 1.5 positions because you're a mechanic.
1.5
Then-
positions, 2 positions.
Okay, 2 positions, yeah, right. You're the main
I
mechanic.
am the fleet
which is-
technician and the
There's
director.
always a savings, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, right.
So I do have some numbers for you if you'd like.
Sure.
And
Sure.
well, before
Yeah,
we
we
get
can
them,
always.
When I was here before, from 2018 to 2023, I saved the town $300,000 with the combined positions. And to my knowledge, I don't think that I failed in both positions. So I that's a strong point that I should make. If I was to hire a certified technician now, it would be $65,000 to $70,000 for a base salary, and that person would have a plow route. So with
Mhm.
that base salary plus overtime, that person would be making around $85,000
Sure.
on top of a director's salary of 70 to 75,000. So if you put those numbers together,
Yeah, yeah.
is this a position you're doing because it just isn't currently filled right now, or is that now part of your job duties?
it's so prior to me
The
leaving, that wasn't-
position's job duties.
So in 2018, the combination position was developed by the select board. I was the technician at the time. I applied for the director's position and I presented a plan at
Mhm.
that time. I went under a 6-month probationary period, and at the end of that 6 months, the select board liked what they saw. I exceeded in their expectations, and they made it an official position, director/technician.
And that's why I asked that, because that was one of the explanations. Now, this is not a person isn't there, so the person's doing extra work right now. And that would be my concern that, all right, that's fine. We get this, it goes up. And oh, by the way, we just now hired a mechanic at $72,000, like you said, or whatever the number was, and that's why I want to clarify for the people that.
And if you remember, Stan, when Kevin left us, the next budget, they came in and explained how they had to do things different because now he wasn't there to do it. So I remember this conversation.
Yeah, if I could just speak real quick as the chief.
Yeah.
If you remember when Kevin left, he does all the police department's fleet, okay? And that's just, I know the inspection requirements are going to be different for everybody in here now. It's not any different. It's for municipality, DPW, and police. A lot of wear and tear on those vehicles. And so he's needing, having to do all that stuff. So we obviously have to have them inspected. We did have an inspection station, but we brought our fleet to another, I would say, vendor, somebody that we knew and trusted. My budget was through the roof on that line item. There would be no way, and me and the lieutenant sat down because we at that time didn't think Kevin was going to come back, and was going to have a discussion with the town to say, we need to hire a mechanic, or we're going to spend way too much money. But you're not going to get a mechanic for the $20,000 or $22,000 that we spend to maintain the fleet for the police department a year. You can't touch a mechanic for that. So I would say that's a bargain for what Kevin does. He's a certified technician, the things that he does and how quick he can get those vehicles in and out of the shop is one of the top things, especially with first responders. So
Water pumps. The water pumps. We were having to pay a dealership, what was it, $2,700 when the water pumps would go, because you have to remove the entire engine of that one type of vehicle in order to change them. And we had several that Kevin had replaced before he left. And then when he was gone, we had to go. We had no other choice but to go and have it done at a higher rate. That's why we're driving Tahoes now, right?
And that's why I appreciate this discussion, because this is a discussion of positions and savings of money. not just this person's doing a good job. We expect everybody to do a good job. So thank you for doing a good job. Thank you all for doing a good job. But when it comes to spending, that's what we're asking about. That's what we concentrate on. And that's all we have the purview to discuss. It's not whether or not you're doing a good job.
There's another question.
Yep.
So the
Christine.
the 5 full crew, one's a CDLA. None of the rest of them or any of those 5 are mechanics, correct?
They are not licensed technicians, no.
Okay.
They don't call them mechanics anymore. Now they're technicians.
Well, I didn't want, they would want more money.
My husband's case, it's a master technician.
Hmm.
Just so you know.
Why isn't he
Okay, any
working
more discussion
at the town?
on this? All those in favor of the 886390, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. So, and sanitation is there anything we can even discuss about that? I mean, is that,
the contracts.
Yeah.
and
Fourth year of the fifth.
The
five-year
contracts and the costs that go along with it. We're going to have to be paying New Hampshire DES this year per ton. We'll get a rebate at some point in time, but we've got to outlay the money for all the tonnage that's taken down to Wheelabrator. Electricity, our street lighting, we're probably going to overspend the street lighting because our electric rates went up so much because we had such a low rate before. The rates went up, I believe it was 17% because we were on a five-year contract prior to that. We had locked in at a really great rate. So now we're back, at market rates. And so we're going to have to just evaluate how we can try to, keep some control on that. And in some cases, we can control certain things with the streetlights, but it is public safety, and we'll just have to see how that goes. We did have a few issues in some of the buildings with electricity over the year that we've addressed. So hopefully those building issues aren't going to negatively impact the budget. But outside of that, we've kicked around redoing Amnesty Week and how we do Amnesty Week, patterning it more like the way Northfield does it with coupons, and even with the precautions and the things that we put in place to try to limit and make sure that people bringing trash to an Amnesty Week or whatever they're bringing to get rid of, that they are coming from the town. However, our DPW director witnessed personally somebody loading up things from a business in Franklin and onto their trailer and bringing it to the DPW during Amnesty Week. So
Sure, it happens.
we try the best we can with, putting the registrations on the dump stickers. It does seem as though it's a much better program to go with coupons that you can use year round. So you're not limited to one given week, in the fall and the spring, but still that still has to be decided by the board. And it's currently budgeted for the way we've been doing it, spring and fall cleanup. And we'll be negotiating in 26 or going out to bid probably in the end of 26 for collection contracts.
Okay.
But there's very little competition out there at the moment.
Right.
So just be aware.
There's also costs increases for tipping fees.
Yep.
It comes in here, it comes in the sewer department, believe it or not, that all ends up, not all, but a lot of it ends up in tipping fees. We talked about it with Lockmere because of the PFOAs or the plastic, I forget what the acronym is.
PFOA.
That's what a lot of the tipping fees came, and that's why, an excuse to increase the prices, because that's where a lot of that stuff has to go now.
Yeah, we're in the middle of we're getting towards the end of a 7-year contract with Consolidated, the co-op for Wheelabrator and or Wind Waste as it's now called. And among, I think it was Joe, 8 towns that are part of the co-op. And our tipping fees are $100 per ton currently, but then we have to pay a $3.50 ton surcharge to DES, which supposedly will get back at some point in time, but still cash outlay, during the year, and we'll have to just keep track of that. But otherwise, there's not a lot of wiggle room in the sanitation portion.
I mean, to reduce the weight of the trash, it would be the key. I mean, if say you took out glass, there is a whole glass recycling program. They grind it up down in, if you could recycle that, which is a huge amount of weight, take that and they grind it up and then they make sand. So it's what I've reading, seemed a lot of communities are taking that advantage, but maybe we're too small for that to make a difference. But if you take a lot of weight out of that, you're saving on tonnage.
There are towns that have tried to do that. I can tell you that when we get to talking about revenues, or if you look at the warrant articles that I supplied, the draft, Board of Selectmen haven't finalized them yet. But if you recall, last year we were redirecting DPW revenues into the revolving fund to offset the warrant article for highway equipment. And that amounted to almost $25,000 in 2025. So we had some good recycling. One of the encumbrances that DPW has is for a second baler, so that they can dedicate one to all the aluminum and one to all the cardboard. And there are different rates that you get paid based on the size of the bales and things of that sort. So we're trying to find ways of maximizing, those costs. And we are looking for a used baler. We're not looking for a brand new one, although the encumbrance is priced for a brand new one, should that be the only option.
Great.
I have a question on the commercial solid waste is a line item. The 3 main large line items in this department is residential solid waste, commercial solid waste, and the curbside contract. So the contract is to actually collect the waste. The residential solid waste is where we pay to get rid of that, which is collected. And then the commercial solid waste is in at $155,000 with a note that 100% of it is reimbursed through the hauler revenue. Commercial solid waste is collected in dumpsters at the businesses. Why would there be $155,000 cost?
Oh, I know this one.
Go right ahead, Joe.
Because they pay to get rid of their own garbage. The residents of Tilton do not pay to get rid of business trash. Businesses pay to get rid of business trash. But we have to raise and appropriate the amount that we anticipate spending. That's the budget law. That said, we will get that money back plus an administrative fee for every ton from the businesses. So we actually collect more from the businesses
That's
than
correct.
we put out in that 155. We'll get back
So there's no impact on the
155
budget.
plus.
So why would this be considered an expense?
Because we have to, every outlay that we make has to be budgeted for. Every one.
That's correct.
That with the revenue.
It's
so
right. Department of
Same thing
Revenue
with the
Administration.
sewer and the.
It's the law.
And they're gonna pay for that. And that's part of the revenues. If you look at revenues, it'll say right there.
Yeah, and as a guy who's padded his budget at work for decades, this looks like a nice $155,000 to play with next year is my point.
Yeah, but that's got nothing to do with anything. It really doesn't. It's not, because if you look at the
But the
revenues,
optics,
it's over there. No, the
Yeah.
optics are, look at the revenue.
An offset.
There's nothing wrong with the
Okay.
optics. By law, we have
We-
to raise and appropriate that money.
we have to pay, we have to pay wind waste for everything that's collected and delivered from the town of Tilton. There's a flow control ordinance that's in existence that requires all solid waste be taken to wind waste. There are a few exceptions if something's radioactive or, fails down at wind waste, it has to be taken somewhere else. But otherwise, that's not up to the hauler. It all has to be taken down there, or they don't receive a permit to haul within the town of Tilton. So, so we get a bill from wind waste for the total amount, and we turn around and we bill all the individual haulers based on the tickets that they've delivered down to wind waste, and add an administrative fee per ton on top of that. And now we'll have to add also the New Hampshire DES fee on top of that as well. So
Do we ever get stiffed by those haulers?
we did have a problem at one point from one of the haulers that decided that they didn't have to follow our flow control, and the selectmen were very good at letting them know that they weren't going to be able to haul within the town, and the hauler corrected it immediately.
Great.
And wind waste is like the landfill.
No, wind waste is, well, it's the incinerator,
Okay.
the old Wheeler, or the new name for Wheelabrator. Yeah.
Maybe we should build an incinerator.
No.
No,
That'll be added to the cost. How come revenues for recycling went to zero? Don't we still do
Because
cardboard and all that?
based on the Warren article from last year, there was a Warren article to reopen the recycling revolving fund and to reduce the $60,000 that we would typically raise and appropriate for the capital reserve fund. So now the 60,000 is offset by what we raise for the recycling revolving fund.
Okay.
And like I said, it was just shy of $25,000. And you'll see if you were to look in the draft Warren articles, that the Warren article for highway equipment is $35,000 and I think $44.
Yep, 35, 44. Maybe not.
And
Sure.
the idea behind that was that it helps reinforce for townspeople that if you're recycling and taking part in recycling, that you'll in some small way help offset the cost of your taxes through this Warren article.
All right, have we made a motion on the sanitation yet? So I will move, we raise 586,553 for sanitation.
I second.
Oh, yeah, all right, sorry. I saw Public Works right under it.
I seconded.
Any more discussion?
I have a question before we go. Was Public Works voted on separately?
We just voted
Yes,
on
it
that.
Yes.
That's,
Yeah,
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 that's,
that was-
because underneath it says Public Works and Sanitation. And
I
that's all,
think
yes,
combine them
okay.
on that.
Just wanted a clarification, that's all.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, ayes have it. All right, so the warrant articles,
They're still just draft.
what's that?
We don't have to do anything with those tonight, right, Tim?
Do we do that at the public hearing?
You don't have to. You can do it at the public hearing, and they're likely to change. In fact,
Okay,
last night the planning board met and made revisions to the Article 2 amendments, and that's why I sent out a revised one. And then also the selectmen are still discussing some of the warrant articles and how they'll be presented. So it's entirely possible that it's likely to change, but at least it gives you a preview of what's to come.
okay. So we need to decide on a date for public hearing. Is the 28th, 2 weeks? Is that,
So no meeting next week?
I don't know what we need to deal with.
There's nothing left, correct?
We just deal with the, yeah,
Yeah, we
that
did
last
that
yeah,
last
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, If I could ask, there is a point of clarification that I could use on land use, and I think I already know the answer, and I think it may have been obvious to the committee, but just for purposes of the recording and everything else, you would approve the 167,763 for land use. And it seemed as though that the contingent wage increase was what was omitted from that. But there was no discussion about whether that was a zero or, or how that was treated. You just voted on the bottom line. And in I went back and listened to the motion itself, and it doesn't really address.
The intention was to make that line 0.
That was the intention.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that was pretty clear. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm just going by because I have to go back and I have to make sure that what you vote on is what's in here, obviously, and it seemed obvious, but I guess when the Board of Selectmen last met, we did discuss that line and the concern about making sure that we appropriately budgeted for that, as Stan's pointed out, earlier, about making sure that we provide for these positions. And perhaps the budget committee would think about putting $1 in that line, so that if the board did find themselves in a position where they were in a situation where they had to hire, at least they could fund that line from elsewhere in the budget. In other words, keeping $1 in the line versus
What would stop you from bringing them in at the amount you think they should as selectmen? We just talked about the selectmen make that decision. You find the money somewhere in the budget.
Okay.
Right? Isn't that the process?
Yep.
All right. Just trying for clarification.
Yeah, I thought that was.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Catherine.
We'll come to more meetings.
That's what I need, one more meeting. What was the reason for taking the 13,000 out?
Well, they put that in. It was an add-on, wasn't it?
Because the conversation that my recollection was that because in the future, if they need to hire someone at more money, they'd have it there. And we don't,
Yeah.
that's not usually how we
That's why we
budget.
put it in, but
I know.
why did the budget committee decide to take it out?
Because it's not money that's going to be used. It's not a certain, and it just feels like we're padding, in my opinion, we were kind of padding the budget.
For $1.
They can find the money. There's always money in the budget.
Well,
But they can find that money anywhere in the budget, being a bottom line budget.
sometimes.
They can. There's
There's
extra in
sometimes,
there.
if we have a turnover in employees and that kind of thing.
You have a
But if you look
vacancy,
in all actuality, this really is kind of a tight budget.
but there's vacancies, people leave. I mean, there's always
But-
extra money.
To go back to
And we have a fund too.
questions
We
that
have
were
a
asked
fund.
earlier about, thank you, I was going to pick it up at the end. We have wages in here that seem to be, you talk about one wage, 17% increase, blah, blah, blah. We hire people according to their abilities, et cetera, et cetera. So you'll see in land use, we've had quite a turnover of employees in the past few years. And we were lucky enough to find somebody to take that position who had really little or no experience and pay them at a lesser rate than what we'd normally have to pay and what we've paid in the past. Fortunately for us, that person has enjoyed land use and has done very well, but there's no certainty that that position will stay. I mean, history has shown they don't stay long. So that's why the selectmen put it in. And if you look at last year's budget, this is the first time that line has appeared in a budget.
Right.
And the reason it was done is for transparency. you can see specifically what that money is intended to be used for. The budget committee can see that.
Okay,
Well, why
but-
didn't
but-
you just put
And
it,
yes, it's a bottom line budget.
Mhm.
If we end up in a pinch, we end up having to hire somebody,
They could use it for something.
we're going to scramble around and look for money somewhere else.
but why don't you just put that into the salary?
Because we did it for transparency.
Because they're
Well,
not
no,
paying,
why wasn't it just put into that? Why didn't that salary just be 60,000?
because they're not paying
Because
the
we're
current
not paying
person.
out that salary at 60,000.
So this is just
We
for.
paid
Well,
last
what I'm saying is you will say you want to have that, but
I don't
you
wanna
can't
spend
do
that,
it. I don't
just in
understand
case.
that.
No. What
Here's
I'm
the
saying
reason.
is so that when people look at the budget, when they look at this budget, they can go, oh, all right, what's actually being paid out for land use or planning on paying out for that position is that amount of money. The line underneath that says market evaluation adjustment shows that, if we had to hire somebody and we found somebody with a lot of experience, that's what we're going to be paying them. The one above plus that.
But why don't we do that for every office in the town?
Because not
Right.
every office, not every position in the town was hired with little or no experience
You-
at
you
a
could-
low salary.
You could have that same argument on every single position. You could have
No,
that
you
for town
can't.
administrator.
I can tell you that their finance officer has been here for how many years too?
I have
So he
never,
was not hired last year at a very low position.
I have never seen a contingency line in a town budget before.
Oh,
I-
excuse me.
I have
The
never, I
town of
have never,
Tilton,
I
the
have
town
never.
of Tilton had
We
a
had one.
contingency line
Okay,
for
but,
years. Do you remember that?
but my point though is
Which
if we,
one? What?
We had a line that said contingency.
It was a $50,000 line.
well,
I don't remember that,
in
but
this,
The town administrator at the time
okay, well,
decided to
We've already
spend down
voted.
our reserve fund, and the Department of Revenue Administration asked us to put that contingency line in to build. the
I
fund
guess
back
then
up.
somebody could stand up at town meeting and ask to put it back in. Because we've
Well,
already voted.
Like I said, I didn't understand why, and thank you for the explanation, but we were just trying to
Yeah.
be transparent.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate it,
Most
but
people don't understand the bottom line budget thing. They don't understand it.
I get it. No, I get it.
And it would,
I believe-
I understand how you would like to have that extra $13,000 in there, but it's $13,000 that's not allocated to a position right now. And you're saying, well, we might have to hire somebody down the line. Yeah, you might have to, you
Every
might have to,
position
you
you might
might
have to
have to.
We're looking at our
And
history.
you ask, why do we did this? Because that's our recommendation to the townspeople. That's why
Well, we
did
went
it, and
through-
That's why we voted for it that way.
3 land use coordinators in 1 year.
It's a tough position. We
Yeah.
get that. It is. But
Having some foresight.
your town administrator could leave, your police chief could leave. I mean, everybody could leave. I mean, it's and you're going to be at the same place because somebody coming in is going to want more money.
Except most of those positions, if you look at the budget, are at current market levels.
Mhm.
This one is not.
well, it's a part-time position though.
And it was created special.
Mhm.
And as,
Typically
you know,
in the past-
as far as
In the past, it
far as
has
I'm
not
concerned,
been a
we've
part-time
never
position.
funded the land use program for all of them well in this town. I mean, I was on the planning board for years and we were always struggling because we had to beg for somebody to help us understand what we should be doing. I mean, that's the master plan. It took, and still the master plan is not. And that is a program that every department in this town should be following. That's what the master plan is. And we just don't have it because we don't put the money out to do it. I know. Right. And that's, so now we're going part-time. So, yeah.
We're working on the planning master update now as we speak, Billy.
Great.
Great. Yay.
Sure. If you need any help, let me know.
And it is a department that pays for itself.
Right.
It is
Well, that's-
self-funded.
Well, that's great. Finally,
It brings in
It
more
offsets the
revenue
rest of
than.
the
that
the
could have been
cost.
done a long time ago if we had someone that would understand why that should be done. So, but,
What's next?
and it's, I'm just worried that we're having all these new houses coming in. What what are the appraisals? Are they affordable housing? Are they affordable housing, or are they going to be housing that's going to raise our appraisal on the residential and even more? I mean, I don't know.
We're not going to solve that tonight.
Okay, all right.
I'm still waiting for
we
what
need-
our percentage change was from
Got it.
the prior budget.
He's got it.
Yep, I got
found
it. So from 23 versus 22, we were up 1/5 of 1%, so 0.20. In 24 over 23, we were 4%. 25 over 24, we were 2.3%, and we're now at 6.2%.
Which line item was
Point
that?
two.
The
is
overall
the overall
operating
The
budget,
bottom line, what our increase is. and
not
this is
not
our
including the
biggest
sewer,
increase
just
in the last 4.
just the operating budget.
Yeah. So
So
Okay.
0.2%,
4 and 2.3.
4%, 2.3%, and
So this one's
6.2%.
way high.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
I think, do you have something else you want to?
I was just going to say, during these years, we've seen other towns around us, spike from time to time. So, not saying that this is, one's right or one's wrong, but we've tried very hard in the past to keep things, as best as we can under control.
I have one more, Chairman.
Okay.
Hopefully you're not. Tim, did you send us the balance sheet for the town?
I sure did. I
Okay.
sent you the audited financials just after the
Can you,
that meeting.
okay. Do you remember the date?
I have one printed copy here if you need it.
Okay.
I'd like to go to approval of December 17th minutes. I make a motion, we accept them.
So moved.
Huh?
Did you say? Oh, I'll second it. then.
Okay, we've had a couple weeks to read them, so.
You've had a week to read them, so.
Yeah.
Don't have any changes.
Any discussion?
Was I here?
Nope.
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
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 You were here.
Okay, so, and we've got the public hearing on the 28th. Is that gonna work?
Sure.
Mhm.
And at that point, we would work with the warrant articles. Is that correct? Yeah, that's, it should be solidified at that point. So we can make it recommendation or, Oh. great,
Yes.
great.
And I will not be here. I will try to come in remotely.
Okay.
I'll be in
Well, we have others,
out of
Do
state.
you
select
ever stay
people
home?
that can
All
fill
summer.
in for you.
I'm home all summer.
And if our deadline is February 13th, for lack of a better term, the 15th, I think someone said earlier, that would give us 2 weeks of contingency in
Great, in
case.
case if there's a
Yeah.
snowstorm or something.
Yep, the 4th and the 11th would be
Yeah.
That's why I
contingencies.
Well,
suggested January.
if I might, so one of the issues that we're going to run into is we need 2 weeks minimum to get the town report done. It's due in town hall on the 3rd of March. It has to be 1 week before voting. So it's due on the 3rd. If you push that back 2 weeks, the Friday before that is the 13th. So I'm really hopeful that the budget committee, selectmen can finish all their work and all their business, and we get things finalized so that we've got enough time to get it into the town report and get the town report to the printer.
By
in
the
time.
13th, right?
I'd like to have it submitted.
Yeah, that's
To
what we just said is by doing the 28th, that gives us 2 backup Wednesdays
That would be
before the
perfect.
13th.
Yeah,
Just in case, yeah.
because I'd ideally, I'd be sending it to the printer on the 13th.
Great. Any other business?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I know how to shut this down.
Catherine, that we said voting. was on
Thank you,
March
everybody,
10th.
for coming.
The
Thank you for
town-
sharing.
No,
Yeah.
The 14th.
Yeah.